Trump weaponized oil. Modi weaponized water. Putin weaponized gas. China weaponized rare earth minerals. Elon Musk weaponized attention. And somewhere along the way, someone in the hair loss industry weaponized finasteride. The modern world has become remarkably skilled at turning ordinary things into instruments of influence and power. Depending upon whom you listen to, finasteride is either the savior of every hair transplant or the villain behind every side effect you might encounter on the internet. Clinics often position themselves at one extreme or the other. Some imply that every person must take finasteride forever. Others suggest nobody needs it at all. After following hair transplant patients for 20 years now, I have learned that neither position tells the whole story. Now this patient you see here underwent a hair transplant procedure some 11 years ago at Darling Buds Clinic. He did not take finasteride in the long term. And now look at this result. This patient also underwent a hair transplant at my clinic many years ago. He too did not take finasteride in the long term, yet the outcomes of these two patients are completely different. The first patient gradually lost most of his native hair over time. The transplanted hair survived, but the surrounding hair, the native thinning hair, continued to miniaturize and disappear. As the years passed by, the overall illusion of density declined. The second patient, on the other hand, still retains most of his native hair despite not having continued finasteride. 15 years later, the transplanted hair still continued to blend naturally with the hair he already had, producing a result that remains remarkably stable. Two patients, two hair transplant results, neither remained on finasteride. Yet their long-term outcomes are poles apart. And over the years, this has taught me something very important. The question of taking finasteride long-term, lifelong, is oversimplified. Many patients present it in black and white. Either everyone must take finasteride forever, or nobody needs it at all. The truth, my dear friends, lies somewhere in between. And click here to know more about long-term results. One of the greatest lessons that I have learned is that DHT does not affect everybody equally. And on top of that, there are various other factors that influence DHT, like environmental factors. Hair follicles respond according to their genetic sensitivity to DHT, which is very different from one hair loss sufferer to another. Some individuals have extraordinarily aggressive baldness. Their follicles are highly vulnerable to DHT and continue to miniaturize relentlessly over decades, while others lose hair slowly. Their pattern may stabilize partially with age. Even without medication, they may retain a significant proportion of the native hair for many years. The same hormone, the same age, the same procedure, yet completely different outcomes. And that is why hair restoration cannot be practiced by protocol alone. It must be individualized. Do I believe finasteride works? Absolutely. In my opinion, it remains one of the most effective treatments ever developed for male pattern baldness. Many patients have preserved thousands of native hair because of it. Many patients avoid additional procedures because of it. Many patients maintain better density for longer because of it. But the real question is not whether finasteride works. The real question is how much and how long does a particular patient need it? And these are very different questions. Not every patient progresses at the same rate. Not every patient responds the same way. Not every patient tolerates the medicine equally. And not every patient is willing to take the medication indefinitely. So my task is not to force every patient into the same template like many online medical prescribers do. My responsibility is to identify the individual's risk and help him make an informed decision. Because the long-term appearance of a hair transplant is often determined not by the transplanted hairs themselves, but by what happens to the native hair surrounding them. And this is perhaps the most misunderstood concept in hair transplantation. A hair transplant is not simply transplanted hair. It is transplanted hair plus the native hair surrounding it that remain. The two work together to create the illusion of density. When native hair disappear, they take away with them a part of this illusion. That is why I very often tell patients that preserving native thinning hair, your existing hair, may be even more important than transplanting new hair. What is the point of a transplant when only an island will remain and everything surrounding it disappears over time? Every native hair saved is a graft you never need to harvest. Every native hair retained protects your donor supply. Every native hair maintained contributes to the final cosmetic result. This is also why hair transplantation should be never viewed as a one-time transaction. Unfortunately, many technician-driven clinics market it exactly that way. You buy grafts, you receive grafts, and the relationship ends. But baldness does not. Baldness does not end. Hair loss continues to evolve. The pattern changes, the surrounding follicles continue to age. The result you see at 1 year is not necessarily the result you will see at 10 years or 15 years or perhaps later. Have a nice day.